Peace. Man. Man. Happy now. Now is the vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now I wanna speak on this new crystal I just got for the first time I ever worked with, called Galena. Galena. It's basically like a lead ore in essence. Matter of fact, I think that's what the name in Greek stands for, like Galene. In Greek, it stands for lead ore. But, matter of fact, it almost has a little pyrite vibe to it, you know. See the pyrite. Gold. Pyrite is basically sulfur and iron. You know, this is lead and something else that I can't recall right now. I just know the basis of it is lead. As a matter of fact, I don't see it in my little book that breaks down all the different chemicals that's in it, and I never looked it up on the internet as of yet. But now, first and foremost, let me say that you should be extremely careful when dealing with Galena, because the lead could, don't want lead being intaken into the body. That won't be such a good situation. Of course, to each his own, though. Some of us have alchemical abilities that may exceed, the regular human standard. But for the most part. But so Galena is basically lead ore, and the basis of the energy behind Galena is like staying grounded during tough and overwhelming situations. And matter of fact, with it being lead, it's also gonna be a great crystal for the Capricorn energy, or that Saturnian energy, the Saturn energy, because Saturn's metal is lead, lead, or the heavy metal, And matter of fact, speaking of staying grounded during tough, overwhelming times, with like a heavy metal, gonna bring you like, and not in the bad sense of the heavy metal, but in the good sense of, grounding, even in tough, overwhelming times. So it would take, think about like an anchor that stops a boat from moving in the ocean, Like, it takes a heavy metal in order to ground and be, really grounded in your situation. So you see that aspect of, and matter of fact, with all crystals, how I explain, like, well, you don't even have to look at characteristics as much as you just know the chemical makeup, the way it's shaped, the way it looks, what color it is. All right. It's silver with a little gold in it. It's going to deal with the solar plexus. It's a metal, and is also going to deal with a lot of grounding energy, because metals tend to vibrate at a frequency that resonate with the lower chakras more, compared to something that seems clear or transparent, that may be lighter and deal with the higher chakras. That's something you could just assess without even picking up a book, or it gets to the point where you will be able to assess it without looking at a book. In which, as I speak on that, I'm about to pick up my book and use it in a few. But just to speak on lead, because I don't have the characteristics of lead memorized, but I wanted to share it because, again, all these crystals that we deal with, they give off certain energies because of the elements that's in them, but the elements give off a certain energy. Like magnesium has a certain vibration, manganese has a certain vibration, copper, selenium, like, all these different elements, has a certain vibration to it, certain characteristics, that all go into making our being. So too, another aspect outside of Galena, with creating our bodies, like in certain zodiac signs have more of certain certain salts in their body, And with that being said, if a person has more potassium running through them, they're going to vibrate, they're going to operate with the characteristics of like potassium in essence, because that's what's running through their being more, So even with our diet, that's uniqueness is created within our diets from that situation as well. You know, what we intake, and you know, we all eating exactly different. You know, we each not eating the same amount of bananas, the same amount of apples, and at the same time. As a matter of fact, and we all don't have the same chemical makeup either. But you see how, you know, it's the elements, you know, at play that creates a certain vibration. You know, the element of iron missing from your body, you know, you become a little cold because you don't have that fiery essence in it. So it's all, you know, elemental energies. But to get into lead right quick, you know, on a physical level, lead stimulates the elimination of heavy metals in the body, and in this way helping with disease and organs affected by harmful substances, particularly in the stomach, intestine, blood, and nerves. It helps with dehydration, sclerosis, which I don't know, stone formation in organs, loss of weight, muscular atrophy, and severe localized pain. So it helps with all those things on a physical level. Psychologically and mentally, lead promotes a joy in living, you know, particularly when we are depressed by a personal or social situation that seems to be hopeless. Matter of fact, the feeling that everything is heavy is lead, you know what I'm saying? So again, to attest to the fact of even in the characteristics, this what I just was reading, it was about lead. It has nothing to do with Galena, but you see how, you know, Galena characteristics come from the essence of it having lead inside of it, and some of the lead characteristics goes into, you know, the wholeness of the vibration of what Galena gives off, you know. So I spoke to about you know, promoting joy, and particularly like when trying to get away from, particularly when we are depressed by personal or social situations that seem to be hopeless. So again, I started off staying grounded during tough and overwhelming time, you know, heavy as lead to really, you know, hold you down. But now the way they was talking about it was like when you do feel heavy, like in the aspect, again, this English language where, you know, the same phrase in essence could have two different meanings, but you know, heavy as lead as far as to ground you and hold you down, but then in this aspect they mean it more like heavy, like sad, like I'm heavy, I'm, you know, all this depression, all this is weighing down on me, like, so I'm feeling heavy as lead, you know, they mean it from that aspect. But like when I'm speaking of it, you know, it's, the heaviness of it is like staying grounded, you know, creating a certain strength and protection level, because in order to, that's the whole thing, in order to make it through a lot of tough times, you have to be strong in your root chakra, you know what I'm saying? That's what a survival mode is at, you know, fight or flight, you know, basically. So when you in a tough situation, that calls to that action, like, all right, fight or flight. Am I going to fight this, or am I going to run away from it? You know what I'm saying? That all, you know, that's what that area deals with. So that's why it's important to deal with the root chakra, or deal with crystals that deal with that area when facing situations of like turmoil or certain situation you got to stand up to or be courageous about, you know. That's when the matter of fact, garnet, you know, rubies, like the passion, the strong root chakra / heart chakra vibes, you know, hematite, you know, fire agate, creating that fiery essence, you know. Now on the again, on the psychological level, I talk about it promotes joy, you know, in heavy times. It stops hallucinations and obsessions and helps us to release ourselves from restricting habits and oppressive dogmas, you know. Now, restricting habits and oppressive dogmas, you know. So say for instance, why would it help with that? Well, you know, when you're grounded in your root chakra, you know, you have a lot of courage. With that courage, you have the courage to be your authentic self. With the courage to be your authentic self, you're going to step away from these dogmas. You're going to step away from your restricting habits, you know, because you now have the courage, you know, to face these situations and to grow, you know, and to grow out of them, you know. So the reason why the lead will help with that situation, because again, resonating in the root chakra, and it's creating a certain type of courage. So the reason why, you know, it helps you to release from restricting habits or oppressive dogmas is because you're having the courage to to move away from it, you know what I'm saying, to take care of business and do what you got to do to get away from it in essence. And of course they saying it's, it helps to release, but in essence that's what it's doing. And it helps with obsessions and hallucinations. Hallucination when you you're grounded, you're not everywhere and thinking about your past life and dreaming of the future and all that. You know what I'm saying? You like boom, grounded, now, and also again with the obsessions, whenever our root chakra is out of whack, it'll become a vibe of dealing with addiction. We'll become addictive in nature whenever I want to say if it's overspinning. So if the root chakra is overspinning, we'll have an addictive nature. Matter of fact, a lot of times we'll see it in food, which the addiction to food vibe too is also pointing out that you may be lacking in sexual activity, so you may again, because not to get into that as a whole, what I'm saying, with the sex vibes, it is a healthy thing, so reason why you're running for, to food in essence is because you're missing that bliss from sex, but again, when the root chakra out of whack, you on that obsessive, like overly habitual, addictive type of vibe, when the root chakra is grounded and straight, that prevents you from being in that mode, so it just shows you how, again, breaking it down on the truth, because it says, because say for just reading it release restricting habits and oppressive dogmas, in essence, how does it do that and why does it do, like how does that happen or why, well, because the lead is creating a grounding energy, it's resonating the root chakra. The root chakra resonates with being courageous, and when you're courageous, it kind of prevents you from falling into these, these certain little aspects. And then on the spiritual level, because what I just read was psychological and mental, not necessarily spiritual. On the spiritual level, lead provides life with structure and encourages self-control, a sense of duty, consistency, and loyalty. All Saturn aspects in essence, what I'm saying? It provides life with structure, Saturn, structure, boundaries, what I'm saying? Encourages self-control, that self-discipline, being responsible, Saturn. The sense of duty, again, what falls in that same place. Consistency and loyalty, what I'm saying? Having that foundation that when a certain structure or foundation has a loyalty to it in essence, like say for instance your house, it has a loyalty to you in the essence of where it's always there, like when you need it, like its foundation is structured, is in there, what I'm saying, compared to something that moves around, what I'm saying, that's not structured, then it's not really loyal in essence, because it's moving around, it's all over the place, it's not loyal to one spot, or structured in one spot, so the loyal, consistency, that's all the same thing, that Saturn energy within it, again, it's to show the sun kind of creating a funny little angle on it, but and also just a few other characteristics of Galena. Of course, as a matter of fact, it's going to be one of the best crystals for grounding. And I mean, it speaks for itself. The heavy metal, lead. What I'm saying, like it don't get no more Saturn and being in your physical existence than Galena or lead in essence. What I'm saying. So it's going to create a very extremely strong grounding situation. In fact, so I would say that with fire agate is good for the people who don't feel at home in their bodies. That'd be great crystals. It removes emotional blockages, opens the mind to new concepts. So in essence, promoting alchemical transformation, because when you're embracing new concepts, you're changing the way you look at things. So the things you're looking at is changing. So it's like a little alchemical transformation right there. It brings clarity and stability in areas of confusion, because when you're grounded, you're more able to focus, and when you're able to focus, you have clarity. You know what I'm saying, and stability. You know, you're structured. You're grounded. You're there. You know, you're stable. You're not wobbly. You know how they say, like with the boxing. You know, you're wobbly. You know, your knees shaking. You know, buckling under. You know, and the knees is the you know. In fact, the Capricorn energy again provides structure for our physical, you know, nature. Our physical. That's the energy that provides you know, the structure to all aspects of our physical existence. You know, the Aries bring the me first vibe, or the, you know, taking care of myself vibe to our physical existence. You know, the Virgo brings the taking care of others vibe. You know, the Cancer brings the motherly vibe. You know what I'm saying? Start to see how the, you know, the zodiac signs in essence, you know, resonate with their body parts. You know, where, you know, the structure. What when you come after it's done, you know, with each zodiac sign, you have a whole full body. You know, that structure. So, you know, the stability is at the knees. You know, promotes loving and understanding. Let's see. It promotes spiritual wisdom and insight for making tough decisions. You know, so again, back in the like tough and overwhelming times, you know, helps for you to stay centered, and it helps for you to move past or basically limit self-sabotaging and hindering events. You know, so just helps you to get out of your own way in essence, basically. You know what I'm saying? Where you're less likely to fall into the habits and into the vibes of hindering yourself. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you're growing past those old hindering habits, you know, and that old self-sabotage, and you get more and more of you know, that synchronicity and that vibe you deserve during your day, instead of limiting yourself. But that's basically it with the Galena. Again, remember to not I put it down there. Remember that you don't want to like, matter of fact, just like with Malachite, you know, you don't want to watch how you deal with this with your mouth and your hands, and, you know, getting this on any of your food or anything. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's said to be very toxic. I'm not gonna fear monger you. You know, it's a balance. I'm gonna make you aware, but I'm a firm believer in our minds could do anything. So I feel like if you could vibe and say this won't be toxic, if you could, you know, I feel like it's possible. So I won't. If something is possible, I'm gonna keep that door always open. You know, I'm not gonna speak on like, well, you know, nah. If you're very skillful at alchemy, you know what I'm saying, you may be able to work with it a little more freely than the next, but for sure, you just want to be careful. You just want to be careful. That's it. Galena for the good grounding energies. You know what I'm saying? Really ground you in your body. You know, and help you. Matter of fact, since we're dealing with all these different energies right now, you know, that's why it's important to stay grounded. You know, so you're not, you know, because you could think of the energies that we dealing with, all this ascension energies, the retrogrades. Think of it as strong winds going in different directions, and you're a balloon, you know, and you being grounded is something holding on to your balloon string. You know what I'm saying? And with all these energies, you know, they come in all this, but you know, you ground, you know, your balloon might waver a little bit, but it's structured, it's there, compared to when you're not grounded and all these winds come through and it's not grounded, so your balloon just like floating away, you know, like everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's how the confusion kicks in as well, because when you're not grounded, you're not grounded to your human self, and you open to attacks, all kind of stuff. So that's why, you know, again, it's just staying grounded is very key, especially when we're dealing with fluctuating energies, you know, on the ascension process. Peace. Happy now again. Now vibrate. If I didn't do it already, I'm gonna do it again, but not too far in the past, not too far in the future. Right now.